Yes, here we are. Welcome, everybody, back to the Empowered Wellness Series 2024 edition. And here we are with the first session. And we decided to dedicate not just today's session, but actually the entire month of January to goal setting. Because we have noticed that this is such a big topic, especially with the new year starting. And oftentimes people are struggling why at all set goals and what it brings for me. And also, even if they have the intention to set those goals, they may not know how to. So today we are going to talk about the power of goal setting, and we'll slice and dice the topic together with my amazing co-host Anderson. And next time, already heads up, spoiler alert, in 2 weeks' time, we will be back with the second session. You want to be there because we will go deep and give you practical tools and talk only about the how to set goals. So, if you are ready, we will start with a quick introduction because some of you may join us for the first time and we would like to welcome those specifically. So, Anderson, please go ahead with an introduction and then we'll continue from there.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Thank you all for being here. Happy New Year. I can't believe we all made it to 2024. It's just amazing being here and checking out that box and flipping the page over to 2024. This is the first of many Empowered Wellness series to come. So I just wanted to welcome everybody and say thank you for being here. My name is Anderson Dinga. I'm the founder of Live Unity, and Live Unity's mission is to empower every individual so they can prioritize their well being. I've been prioritizing my well being as well, and I love this topic of goal setting because it really allows us to be very intentional about what we want for ourselves. And intention is so powerful. So, thank you so much, Sylvia, for setting up this session. I know typically when we do our Empowered Wellness series, we have two of our other hosts with us. There's Rupsha, who's out in Kolkata, and then there's Georgette, who's out in Little Rock, Arkansas. Unfortunately, they're both out today and they won't be joining us. I think they're in the comments, but I will be sending them plenty and plenty of love because we would love to have them back next week when we have this session. Sylvia, it's wonderful to be here, and I'd love to turn it back to you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Let's kick off this topic. Over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you for the shout out for Georgette and Rupsha. We miss you girls and hope to have you back to complete our Empowered Wellness team for the next time. So, my name is Sylvia Vitos, and I'm a leadership well-being coach and consultant working with corporate executives and senior leaders, helping them find that balance inside out so that they too can live a happier and healthier life despite of all the high responsibilities they do have on their plate. And I do that by tapping into all aspects of well-being, means mindset, physical well-being, emotional intelligence, and spiritual part as well. So it's a great pleasure to be here. I'm calling in from Dubai. I'm originally from Hungary, living in Dubai now. Hello, Sunil. Nice to have you here in the comments. Welcome. And yeah, so coming back, it's amazing, by the way, to have this international group of people showing up every second day in this format and just talking about our passion in some forms of well-being and helping supporting our people to live a better life because we all deserve it. So today's topic, goal setting. Anderson, let's kick this off. And I really would love to maybe start with what is the power of goal setting? Why is it important at all to have goals? Would you share your point of view? How do you see that? And then we can just keep the conversation go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Georgette is not here. She would give us the background and the etymology of what is a goal, where it's the origin of the word. I'm not gonna butcher it today, so I'm just gonna roll with it. Um, I've been setting goals for about 20 years in my corporate life, and that's been most of the focus. Most people know that they can set goals every single year. As a corporate leader, We start this process of goal setting around Q4. Q4 is the fourth quarter of the year, October, November, and December. And during that process, what typically happens is that the corporate decides what the corporate objectives are going to be for the year, and leadership hands those goals down. And then me as an individual, I'll take that and make sense of it. Like, okay, these are the things that I need to do. Now, what I came to find out in the last year is that, yes, it's amazing when you set goals in the corporate side of your life, in the professional side of your life. However, there are so many different sides of your life. There's actually 8 dimensions of your well being. And if you're not being as intentional about your goals in those other 8 dimensions, you're missing out. You're really missing out. So I love this topic of goal setting because it really helps with one, what I said in the beginning, intention, but two, it also generates the motivation to get going. I'll share some examples later on as time progresses. The motivation part is huge. You hear a lot of times people say, well, I'm not very motivated to go to the gym. Well, maybe you haven't set a goal around it. Or you hear people say, you know what, I don't really know what to do, but maybe you haven't really set a goal around it. That's and not a sense of direction. So I love goal setting because it gives you those two things, the motivation first to get started and the direction where you need to go. The third thing that I really, really enjoy about goal setting, because I've set goals for myself and I've set goals for my team. I used to have a team of high performers, get the people pleasing high achievers. And it was about clarity, having a sense of clarity. This is what we are doing. It's so important these days because without clarity, people are just spinning around and not really making any progress. What I called it was like we will find out that there was a lot of activity, but really no productivity. Just a bunch of people doing things, but there's no sense of productivity. So goal setting
Mm.
for me has become a must do. There is the old adage that says, if you plan to fail, you fail to plan, right? And I live by that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hand it back to you. Why is goal setting? What's the power of goal setting? Why is that important?
You know, you touch based on so many incredibly important parts, and the thoughts are just popping up in my mind, one after the other as I'm listening to you. And I also keep coming back to the same thought, like, yes, motivation is incredibly important, and to have that guideline somehow, where are we heading to? Like, are we just sitting in a ship and not knowing where we are going, wherever we end up, or do we have a direction? Do we have a destination that we want to reach at some point? And I think the real power comes really again back to that my favorite mindset topic of the power of the subconscious. Because when we don't put the conscious awareness, means goal setting, into sight, then the subconscious, the 95%, is so incredibly powerful. We truly underestimate that. It will take back over. It will just keep our life going as we always used to do, keep repeating the same things. How many times you eat the same breakfast, have the same thing for lunch, you go to the same restaurant, you sit at the same table, you I don't know, you just drive home through the same road because this is what you know. Like, we really don't like to get out of our comfort zone. And by setting goals, we just grab that 5% of conscious awareness to really set some ideas of how to grow out of our actual self. And this is where it's so powerful. Now, of course, it should not probably just be any kind of goal, that will also have a tremendous impact. How far away, how feasible is that goal or not? And in some cases, I can tell you, in some scenarios, the less feasible, the better it is. In some other scenarios, maybe it's good to have it feasible and start slow and build it up. And we will reveal the aspects in a bit. But as you said, also productivity. Are you busy being busy, or are you busy being productive? And talking about flow, are you just going with the flow, let life happen to you? Or do you take back your power? Do you claim your control and you will put yourself in the flow and you will define how this journey will continue? It's a choice. And goal setting is a very powerful tool to make this choice happen and to make this choice effective. So these are a couple of thoughts that come to my mind. And Anderson, you touch based on the 8 domains of life. I mean, you can call it as many as you like. Some people like to use 6, some others 10. It's not about that. But of course, it's very common to have some sort of goal setting in an organization, in a corporate world. We definitely all have seen and lived that. And that's where we always try to just stay as safe as possible and make it as feasible as possible so we can somehow achieve that. In the entrepreneurial world, it's pretty much the opposite. Put your North Star and your vision as far as possible. The more crazy, the better it is. And that's where the variations come in as well. So yeah, that's again a continuation to the reflection. Having the reflection on your life and on the 8 or however many domains is incredibly important to just zoom out and take that helicopter view, understand what's going on in your life, what are the areas that may require your attention with priority, and then tackle those so that you also don't overwhelm yourself by having a list of 10 goals for the next 3 months. It really has to be doable and it has to feel great, motivating, and inspirational. Then you are at the right place. Yeah.
Love that.
Anything you would like to add?
I have three things I'd like to add. One is reflection. Two, you
Mm,
touched on spirituality, and the third one is like the aspiration part of it. It's so funny. The reflection is what we're doing in January. By the way, January, I was just doing some research the other day, and I found out that the name January is it's the origin of it was the Greek god, and the Greek god was called Janus, and it was a two-faced god, and the ability to look into the future and into the past. And the month of January is so important
very
for us
important.
because a lot of people just jump right into the year without reflecting on what they did last year. They just want to set new resolutions throughout last year. Last year sucked or whatever. And let's just go and set a new goal and a new year without reflecting, without celebrating, without that. And I think this is a time where we should really slow down and reflect. That's the
Very
first thing that
important.
we really need to do is slow down and reflect. What went well, right? What went well? What didn't go so well, right? I think it's really important for us to be honest about what didn't go well. And then now we can start focusing. Otherwise, we look at the 8 dimensions and it becomes super overwhelming. Like, oh my goodness, how do I set goals in all of these areas in my life? The second thing you mentioned was like the aspiration of it. Now, the aspiration, I agree with you. We always set these goals that are so big that it's impossible to achieve them. And some people, it's great. But when you set a goal too big, sometimes it cripples you. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But the aspiration is good. And I know there's different acronyms that we can use, whether it's achievable, right? So that aspiration has to be based on what you've done before. And I think that what you've done before comes from that reflection. The spiritual aspect of it, though, that's an interesting one because I never really brought spiritual when I set my goals and when I achieve goals. So it's interesting you talk about that because as I begin this year, I've been doing what some people call this wintering. I've been going inward. I've been grounding myself. I've been doing a lot of that reflection, but I've been also thinking about who I'm becoming as I set these goals for this year. And that part for me is such a deep spiritual part because it allows me to integrate all of the things that I learned in my life, whether it's gratitude or it's resilience or it's self compassion, all of those things that I learned. Yeah, set the goal, but be compassionate with yourself as you reflect. Be compassionate with yourself as you aspire. and be compassionate as you take those actions. To me, that's what's resonating with me, and I appreciate that you mentioned those three things. Moving into focus, goal setting is one of those things that has really helped me focus my energy. You know, a lot of our lives, we're told time management is the most important thing that we need to do. We've got 24 hours in a day, 8 hours of work, manage your time. And I love that. Time is a good guide. But what goal setting actually allows me to do is focus my energy on what's the most important thing. Because I have a finite amount of energy. And if I channel it to everything, then I get energy drain. But if I focus it on one thing, then I get to move so much quicker and so much more deliberately. I'll hand it back to you, Sylvia.
Uh, where to continue? I'd like to add one point to the reflection part because it's so, so important that I want to highlight that to our audience once again. I spoke about it a couple of times during the last couple of weeks, but whoever is listening, reflection, especially the year-end reflection and clearing the previous year, is therefore so incredibly important because imagine if you carry all those baggages with you into the new year, you can only imagine where you're going to end up when you are adding more and more goals on top of something that you didn't process from last year. And this is where looking into what didn't go so well, what disappointed you, what did you experience as a failure, look at those events and detach from those emotionally. Now you can pull the lessons and then you can make the choice to leave the emotions behind and only take the lessons with you into the new year. And then on the power side of it, when you look at what are your wins and achievements and you list all of those down just from the last 1 year, and you look at those, then ask yourself the $1 million question, which is what do these events tell me about who I am?
Hmm,
And start every single statement with I am and complete the sentence. I am strong. I am disciplined. I am courageous. I am unstoppable. I am whatever it is that comes up for you. And now, guess what? You have your affirmation list created by yourself based on facts,
hmm,
not some stories, not somebody's opinions. This is based on facts that you can always come back to remind yourself that, hey, wait a minute, what am I doing here? I actually have got this.
hmm,
It's a very, very powerful exercise. Don't underestimate the power of it. Do yourself a favor. And even we are mid-January, you are not late yet. You can do the reflection part, and then you can create the space for something new to invite into your life. And then you now really can get your focus going. And that's and I love the fact, as you say, how it just narrows your focus and attention and gets you uh, going with that laser focused action taking that you need to do in order to achieve those goals. This is my biggest experience and takeaway, and honestly, I'm blown away. And I know that for many people, it would be overdoing and way too much the depth I go into goal setting. And it doesn't mean everybody else has to do the same. You do you. But just to offer some idea that being now into the entrepreneurial journey, having a long-term vision is for me non-negotiable because if I don't know what I want to bring to the world, what I want to create as my legacy, then what am I doing, right? So I need some North Star defined far, far away that I know this is my dream. That's why I'm doing this. This is how I want to serve in the world. And then cool, now I have this. Then let's define what kind of high level feasible for the coming 3 to 5 years. And earlier, years earlier, we used to plan to for 10, 15 years. This is today not really ideal because it's just very fast-paced environment with technology and everything around us. So let's just stick with the 3 to 5 years and get some ideas. Just maybe three, four key points where you say that, okay, this feels good. Like this looks like interesting if I achieve it as I look at it now from here. And then you can narrow it down and look at just the next 1 year, just the next 12 months. And there, some visualization can come in. I know we're not going to share much about the tools, we keep it for next time. But with some powerful visualization exercise, you can really just see yourself at the end of the year and begin with the end in mind and start jotting down your goals for the year, which will still be more of a high level. However, it's critical to have some key aspects such as the financials, such as maybe some health relevant goals and some key information jot down as yearly goals. And now the fun begins because the 90-day sprint is something you gotta get crystal clear about if you really truly mean to achieve your set goals by the end of the year, 3 years, 5 years, and beyond. So when you have the 90 days goal, and this is how I'm working for my personal self and for my company as well, do I separate the two and then merge them again together so that they just work in harmony? When I have the 90 days goal, then I start breaking it down into the monthly goals, and then that will be again split down into the weekly. And then guess what? This gives the basis for my weekly planning. So every single week on Sunday afternoon, I sit down for 30 minutes and then just look at my long term goals as a reminder. Then I look at what I could accomplish during the last week. And then I look at what's there left for the months and what is it I can probably build into my coming week. And this is how I start planning it out. And when it comes to the daily activity, now I know exactly with every single task I'm executing every single day, why am I doing it, how that serves my long-term vision, and how it contributes to all that. So also I know exactly what to say yes to, what to say no to, and it just gives me that laser focus. And I can tell you that it removes so much of the distraction because I'm not waiting for the invitation. I'm not waiting for life to happen to me, but I'm in control. I gotta get tasks done. So the productivity goes up like crazy, distraction comes down, laser focus switched on. And every single day, I'm amazed by the end of the day how much I have achieved. Other people need probably an entire week for that, if not two. So
Wow.
this is where the power really lies. I know I kept talking for long, but
I
just
love it.
wanted to sum it up from the beginning to the end. Back to
Well,
you.
Sylvia, I love it because one thing that's been really, really impressive that I've seen this year is I've seen you doing these live sessions. Now it's like
Mm,
you're going live every single day. And to me, I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing. It sounds overwhelming to me, but it seems like you've mastered the art of goal setting because you sit down every week, you plan intentionally, and then you just go into execution mode. That to me is really impressive that you're achieving your goals, that you got into this year and you told yourself you're gonna do 30 days of going live every single day, and that was an aspiration, and you can do it. Like you can do it, and you have been doing it every single day without a break. That's
and I
highly
can tell you
motivational
that
to
was
me.
damn scary. When I got the idea, I didn't dare to tell to my husband about it. I told him, I got an idea, but I better don't tell because if I say it, then I know it's commitment and I gotta do it. It's very scary. Let me sleep over it. I did. And then the next day, it was still just continuously on my mind. You gotta go live, you gotta show up, you gotta be visible, you gotta be there and help people serve. That's what you gotta do. So then I had to share. And then from there, it went into commitment. And once I'm committed, then it's non-negotiable. It has to be done, no matter how tired I am, no matter how many back-to-back meetings I may have, no matter what, it will get done. So
I have a,
that's
I
also
have a,
the power of goal setting and commitment. Hmm.
I love it. I have a question for you. I'm not sure why
Please.
this is coming up for me right now, but it is. The word desire.
Mhm.
How much does desire play into, because you're talking about setting this goal, and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, was this something that you desired? How much does desire actually play into goal setting?
For me, I mean, it sure is a combination of desire. What comes up for me first, rather than desire, is overcoming my fears and limitations.
Hmm.
That's what drives me. So, with being visible, being out there today, this is my second live session, by the way. If you haven't seen, then watch it back. Limiting, self-limiting beliefs earlier today. Um, to me, going live every single day is overcoming that limitation of, oh, if not perfect, then don't put it out there, so that it all has to be perfect. Overthinking, so that I don't have time to overthink, just go in and do it. Define the topic and go in and speak. You can speak for 10 minutes, 15 minutes in a row about any topic that is related to what I do. And yeah, and also that showing up. So for me, perfectionism, overthinking is a huge uh, source of fear and limitation that is holding me back and gets me hide away. And then I'm wondering why nobody comes to me or why nobody sees me, and it's just so important because I see myself being out there helping people, being available, being approachable, and I think it's incredibly important in our world. And not using this technology that we have available is yeah, it is not really an option. So yeah, for me, it's challenging myself, overcoming my own fears and limitations. That's what drives most my goal setting. And of course, there is a desire towards that big vision, which I'm serious about, and I definitely want to get there. And the vision is to make an impact on 1 million leaders and help them live a happier and happier life in 10 years' time, which is 2034. That's on the North Star for me. And everything else flows into that vision.
Wow. That's a very impressive vision. And that's a vision which I would love to say if something that I desired, I would love to go for it. But vision is so personal. And now here we are talking about vision. Vision is so personal. And
Mm,
it's funny when you talk about those limiting beliefs. Those limiting beliefs are the things that hold us back from achieving that
yep.
vision or from even setting that vision. But I believe the universe has an amazing way of conspiring to give you what you desire. And for me, every time when I've desired something, all of a sudden it's like the steps to go and achieve it just outlined in front of me. Um, I know we were going to talk about some examples. Last year, the big
Yeah, please.
themes that were in the news last year, there was a ton of burnout, corporate burnout, which was going on for all sorts of reasons. We're seeing post-pandemic, the great resignation. We're seeing hiring hesitation and hiring quitting and all of that. So burnout was a huge thing that we saw last year. The second trend which I saw was layoffs, corporate layoffs, a lot of layoffs, and I think that trend is still continuing this year. It's corporate
Mm,
layoffs. And the third thing that I saw was technology. We saw the rise of AI. We saw ChatGPT and all the other GPTs come up and sort of dominate. These are all the things that are in the minds of today's worker, today's employee, or today's individual, period. And so,
yeah.
how well you navigate through this world. Oh, I forgot the fourth thing, actually. The social impact things which are going on right now. There's wars going on around the world. This is an election year in America. So these are things that are
Mm,
top of mind for people, and they could be distractions. They could actually limit people from focusing on what it is that they want to accomplish for themselves. And as in my personal and in my professional life, I've always made sure that whatever it is that I'm setting as a goal at work, professional development, I include one piece, which is personal development. Learn something new, read a new book, um, go out and take a course, go to a conference. or something like that.
Yeah,
Why
so
do we
important.
separate? Yeah, why do we separate these things, my personal goals from my professional goals? I think you were talking about stepping into entrepreneurship. It allowed me to bring those things all together into one package because there's only one you. There is not you professional and you personal.
Exactly.
There's one you.
Yeah.
So being able to bring those things together, your personal goals of personal development, and how you can develop yourself to be that better professional. So, one of the things that I'm learning is AI. I'm learning how to use AI to be more productive in everything that I do. It's a personal thing,
Mm.
but I'm seeing how it's really enhancing my professional because it's helping me be a better writer. It's helping me be a better reader. I've got 80 books which I want to read in the next 2 years. I, last year I read
Nice.
12. Last year I read 12. So highly aspirational for me. And you know what? One of your favorite books is in it. One of your favorite books. I get to go and read
Wonderful.
it. It's right up there. It's 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. It's in it. So
Yay. It is such awesome.
yeah,
Cannot wait to hear it all.
yeah. But it's really important to put in the forefront some of the social things that are going on because if we lose sight of those things inadvertently affect us. You might not think
Yeah.
that a war in Israel and Palestine is going to affect you, but that's constantly in the news. I've got friends who are on both sides of this war, and it directly impacts me and the goals that I'm setting because I've been in the DI space for so long. You know, you might not think that technology is going to affect you, but I don't know what rock you may be under. Technology is changing the world, and you're talking about we used to set 10-year goals, now it's down to 5 years. Now I feel like we're shrinking it to 3 and to 1 year because the technology just changes so fast.
So fast. Yeah.
So it's really important. I was going to share with you an example of a
Just
goal
wanted
which
to say, bring on the example.
well, one of the biggest areas of development in my life has been where I set a goal to run Boston Marathon. Um, I didn't actually set this goal,
Good.
it came to me. I have to give a shout out to my good friend Christian Ponce, who the way it happened is I went to the gym one day and I was like, I'm gonna go run 3 miles and then I'll post it. And then I got fired up when I was at the gym because I realized that I had so much more in me than 3 miles. So I went to 6 miles and then I went to 10 miles and then I posted a picture of it. And Christian called me that afternoon. He's like, hey man, this is literally how it started. Hey man, do you want to run Boston Marathon? And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not.
Love it.
And
Love it.
um, all my life, I've held this thing on a pedestal. I've told myself I'm only half crazy. And so I stuck with half marathons, 13 miles. Here you are calling me about a marathon. Absolutely not. And he said, well, it's going to be for a good cause. I was like, absolutely not. Wait, what's the name of the cause? And he told me about it. And I got fired up because one of the things that I desire is better mental health, especially for people of color, but for all. And when he mentioned to me that I'm going to be running this course for survivors of domestic violence, I was like, sign me up,
Wow.
sign me up. So it was never really a goal. And actually, when it got presented to me, I rejected it. But the thing about it is that I've always wanted to be a better runner. So I use it as an opportunity to improve my running. And I've always wanted to
Mm.
be philanthropy. And I use it as an opportunity to give back to the world. So yeah, I ran Boston
Beautiful.
Marathon in 2022. And while it was not a goal that I set, it was one of the biggest and the best accomplishments of my life. And I'm happy to share with you some of you talked about visualization earlier. And I know we're going to be having another session next week where we're going to share more of these tools. But I hired a coach. I hired a coach when I was training for Boston Marathon. One of the reasons why I hired a coach is that I needed that motivation, the type of motivation that does not come from myself. I needed somebody who was going to hold my hand, hold me accountable to this. I never run a
Yeah.
marathon before. So all the limiting beliefs were kicking in for me. Like, are you sure? Like, is this too big of a goal? Like, are you just being the people pleaser because Christian is your friend? That all came up for me. And I had to stop and think about it and think about the people who I needed to serve and then go out and do it. So visualization was big. I could visualize myself crossing that finish line. And I think that was really, really important for me because if I didn't visualize myself crossing that finish line, what I would have done is I would have hurt myself. And I did not
Mm.
hurt myself. So I visualized myself finishing that finish line with a smile on my face, with my friends, with my family. Like that was everything that I really wanted. And I went out and I did it. And it happened exactly the way I visualized it. So I'm not saying
You are amazing.
I'm not
This is
saying we should all go out and be Boston Marathon runners, but I'm
why
saying
not?
that there may be something,
Everything is doable. Yeah.
yeah, there may be something in your life that you've put on a pedestal that is highly aspirational, that you're like, man, maybe someday I'll do it. Maybe someday when some Christian shows up in my life and calls me out, then I'll do it. Well, maybe that day is today, right? And if you really wanted to go and accomplish that thing, like my friend Simon says, just do it. Wait, that's Nike. Never mind. Back to you,
I've
Sylvia.
stolen this from them as well for this year. It's fine.
But what about you though? Like, do you have any examples of um
Now I have to tell you about my Christian.
ooh,
Now I have
I
to tell
love
you
it.
about my Christian. So my amazing fitness trainer is called Christian too, which we didn't know about before.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and he is also there with me on that journey towards my Big 40 project, where I actually met him exactly a year ago, and he is unbelievable. I will bring him on for a live, definitely, if not for a webinar, because he's a very high profile personal trainer and transformational coach. And yeah, I mean, he's a walking, talking encyclopedia. And no matter what kind of questions you ask, there will be some scientific answers and the exact explanation of why this exercise and not that, and why 12 reps and not 15 and whatnot, right? And I made that bold statement a year ago that, well, this is my birthday. It was in Feb. That's my birthday. And this is my 39th. Next year it's 40, which is next month now. And I'm like, I want to get into the best shape of my life by my 40. I'm going to own it. I'm going to celebrate it. I cannot wait for it actually. Like it's just perfect as it is. I think many people, especially women, can easily get disturbed and maybe even sometimes depressed about that number. It's just a number, and as long as you feel great, you feel healthy, life just begins. And that's how I look at it. So ever since he's on the journey with me, and he created such an incredible plan in 3 months phases, like same topic, right? Same thing. We had that 1 year goal. By next year Feb, this is where we want to reach. So let's think in quarters. So this 3 months we spend on that, and this is how I put your program together that serves that purpose. And then next month we shift to that, and then to that, and then this is how we will reach that point. I'm like, cool, let's do it. And it's really that, although I love working out, and this is what I keep telling people, there is a reason why even Bill Gates said that everybody needs a coach and better to have multiple coaches. And just because we are coaches and helping people in that service, we also have coaches. I work with multiple coaches myself because we are humans and we all need that additional accountability, inspiration, motivation, we cannot see our own blind spots either. Someone has to put up the mirror for us and just tell the truth and help our mind to just turn back towards the right direction, whatever it is, right? So so yeah, that's my journey, and I'm still on the journey. I have a couple of weeks to go, 3, 4, and counting. And I feel great, and I'm already super happy with where I am right now. I mean, never felt so great like what I do now, close to 40, and I own it, and I'm proud of it, and yeah, it's a very important message to go out there probably as well, that there is nothing to worry about, that like it won't be any different as such, apart from being hopefully more wise and just evolving on that self-discovery journey and bringing out the better and better and better version of our own self day by day that follows, and that's a beautiful journey. So
I
so
love
yeah,
that.
that's a specific goal setting that I can share. The other one that we touched based already on, the daily live sessions that I'm now conducting. For that, I don't have a coach. I'm coaching myself, and I have my husband holding me accountable, kind of, and me myself, right? Like this is for me non-negotiable, and that's also actually a reason. Although I started that on the 2nd Jan, irrespective, it's not a New Year resolution, and I don't really do New Year resolutions as such, because for me, I really realized I did it once in my life, and that worked amazingly well. And then you might be wondering, why don't you do that then every year? And I don't, because this is just about coming up with a new habit that I want to establish and get it up and running into my life. And just like with these live sessions, it doesn't matter what the topic is, whatever I find suitable for my life, any point of time during the year, it doesn't have to be a new year. When I make that firm decision and I commit, I will do the same. I will implement, I will get it done. And I don't need the 1st of January for that. Like, why wait?
Right.
Right? Just do it anytime. And
So you're
yeah, that's
so
for me.
you're like
Yeah, resolution.
so you're so you're like Simon. Just do it. Oh wait, like Nike.
Just do it. Yeah, that's my theme for the year. And maybe we need to get our Christians introduced each other one day.
Yes, please.
That's
Yes, please.
awesome.
I was gonna say, wow, like shout out to all the Christians in our lives who actually help us
Yes.
achieve or who help us believe, right? Because that having that person in your corner who actually helps you believe in yourself and holds your hand so you can go and achieve. Because like they say, I'm full of cliches today. If you believe it, you will achieve it, right? So that's
Yeah.
really, really important. And I stopped doing New Year's resolutions myself. I just found that it was no longer serving me the way I wanted to be served. Um, Kicking off the year and going so hard on yourself, throwing out the last year and coming up with new resolution. I typically find that people will drop those resolutions by March 1st. They will forget that they actually
Oh,
set
by Feb
resolutions.
1st, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I was being very generous, but yeah, they will set the
Yes.
resolutions because everybody's doing it, and then by
Yeah.
February 1st, it's over. They forgot about it. What I found is that being very intentional, setting those resolutions or setting those goals based on your core values, based on those things that we talk about, your reflections, your aspirations, and the things that you can take as actions is really important. But Sylvia, one thing that I've been doing though, while I don't set resolutions, over the last 3, maybe 4 years, I've been choosing a word of the year, or a word or a theme that guides me through the year. Do you want to know what this year is?
Yes, please share.
So
I think everyone wants to know.
well, last year was radical courage, and
Wow.
as we reflect on this, I chose radical courage. Well, courage is, to me, courage is knowing that I need to brush my teeth, that I need to make my bed. Because it requires me to go gain this information. It requires me to go learn how to make my bed. It requires me to go learn how to brush my teeth. Radical courage, though, When you know those things, how many times do you actually not do those things? How many times do you say, hey, I need to give myself self-care, but you don't do it? How many times do you say, I need to take a break, but you don't do it? And that was the biggest source of my burnout, was not being as intentional, not taking the action which would lead me towards that achievement that I wanted. So last year the theme was radical courage. This year the theme is integration. Is
Love it.
is less drastic, but integration allows me to build in all of those things that I've learned over the last few years. So while last year was radical courage, I'm going to be integrating it this year. The year before that was finding balance, and we talk about the wheel of life and the 8 dimensions. I'm going to be integrating that this year. We're going to be talking about holistic goal setting. The year before that, it was self compassion. I'm integrating that. We already talked about that. The year before that, it was
Mm.
resilience. So I'm integrating this year resilience, self compassion, balance, and radical courage. I don't know how that's going to look like, but it's really going to be amazing when I can look back at the end of the year and reflect and be like, wow, I could see myself. I could see all of these things, how they lead out towards the achievement that I've got right now. And I challenge everybody. I'm not saying that you should just go out there and go and create a word for your year. This has just been the guiding star. It's been the North Star for me. And I know there's
Yeah.
people who are doing it as well. So, yeah, I give that to you. My word for this year is integration.
Yeah, and that gives the intention, isn't it? So this is where setting intention is so powerful, and you can do that, take it as a daily practice, or wherever you like, but having that bigger scope of intention, which will be a theme throughout a year, is super powerful, and you may even forget about it at times, as you are just going through the year. And then when you reflect back and put the question across about it, then you get surprised how well it just worked out, because intention is that powerful. And yes, for me, I mentioned already before, I'm not sure if you caught that, but I mentioned that I've stolen my theme from Nike, and this is just to do it. And done is better than perfect. And the main reason is because of that limitation on the perfectionism and overthinking front, which I truly set the goal to overcome. And I think I mastered majority of it. I do all kind of exercises, breath work, energy work, you name it, I do it, just to so much of reflection, of journaling, whatever you want, anything and everything I know and learn, I just use it and use my own tools that I'm teaching to my clients too, of course. But this is a big piece of cake, because this has always been there. And you can imagine, when you lived life for 40 years with some very strong characteristics, and then you decide you want to drop it may take a little longer than just an overnight. So it certainly requires conscious attention. It requires the willingness, the drive, the awareness, and defining, okay, if not that, what is it then? Who do you want to become then? Like you pointed out once very nicely during the session today. And this is my reminder for the year to just do it, stop overthinking, however it looks, however it is. Done is better than perfect. Just be out there, put it out there, and make some noise, and just, yeah, see what resonates and what comes back.
I love that for you. I'm picking on that, just do it, and I'm giving you so much grace for yourself as you go through that, because I think while we got the grittiness of being able to just get out there and do it, we have to give ourselves some grace. So I'm sending you plenty of grace as well as grit. Get out there and do it. I wanna share. I know we're coming up on the top of the hour. I want to share
Yeah.
one final tip for everybody, and this is some practice which you talk about going live daily. I haven't been going live daily, but I set a goal for myself to practice gratitude daily. And this topic of gratitude is really become a lifestyle for me. If you asked me a year ago, hey, would you practice gratitude daily? That is the same thing. I would have been like, absolutely not. But when I found gratitude and I incorporated it into my life, and I'm not just talking about generic gratitude, but you can do gratitude in however way you want to do it. It's a very personal journey. When I started practicing gratitude for the things and the people and the places and the experiences, and for me, it shifted my consciousness. So when I go through the goal setting process, I have to show gratitude for the fact that I can set a goal. There are a lot of people who don't have the ability to set a goal. I show gratitude for the fact that I have people I can share my goal with, who can hold me accountable. People like you, Sylvia. I have gratitude for the Christians in our lives who can hold us and give us the motivation. And that's just me speaking gratitude, but you can do gratitude in so many ways. Sylvia, you talk about journaling. Some people get a
Mm,
gratitude. I challenge you all. Like, if you have an opportunity to get a journal, grab a journal and just write down 3 things a day. And I, you know,
this is right now. Today is
oh,
the day.
oh, I love that. It's such pretty colors too. I love that. There's a company called Clever Fox that makes these really beautiful journals and diaries. I love the physical diary. I bought one for myself. I'm just grabbing it right now. I've always gotten one, but I've gotten like the digital versions. This one I got, you can't see it because of the
Nice.
blur. Um, but what it does is that every single day I have a page for things that I'm grateful for, and I can just write it down. And the first time I did this, I thought it was all like, oh, it's just some woo-woo stuff. But when I
Uh-huh.
practiced it and I got to day 14, oh my goodness, something incredible happened to me. So next time when we get together, I'll share with you more about my gratitude practice. I'm just giving that to you and to our viewers because some of us have not thought about setting a goal around spirituality. You talk about that. And for me,
Yeah,
gratitude is a spiritual practice.
that's beautiful. And I'd like to second this and I'd like to top it up.
Ooh, let's go.
I second this, and I'd like to just add, before topping it up, that the emotion of gratitude is one of the highest frequency emotion. So you want to pay attention that when you practice gratitude, you actually don't just make a laundry list of what you think you are grateful for. Very important to embody it. What I mean by that, to feel it. Really take it to your heart and just feel in every cell of your body how that truly is meaningful and how that shows up for you, because that will elevate your vibration, your frequency. So you will be carrying good vibes. So amazing people will love hanging out with you. A lot of ripple effects. So it's really, really amazing. The top up, I'd like to challenge you and say that, if you don't make the extra effort, then probably your mind will come up every single day with the exact same gratitude. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful that I have roof above my head, and so on and so forth. Try this. Put down 3 things you are grateful for every single day, and try not to repeat the same things. Every day you come up with something new. And I guarantee you, you will be fine for maybe about 10 days. And after that, your brain will be on fire to find something new, something, anything, like the smell of the coffee or the bright color of the flower or whatever it is that you're going to be grateful for. Why is this powerful? Is because this is how you train your brain to look for the appreciation no matter where you look and no matter what happens in your life. So that was the bonus on top of the gratitude since you
Wow.
started.
Wow. You know what, Sylvia? Challenge accepted.
Cool. Amazing. Let's do it.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been, I got to tell you, this has been such an insightful session. I've never really
Yeah,
talked about the power of goal setting, and I'd love to do more of these next week. Not next week, but on the 25th when we get together. What I'd love to do is share some practical tools, some practical tips
yeah.
for those who are listening and they're hearing all of this and they're like, yeah, I should set some goals. Yeah, you should. Come back on the 25th when we're actually sharing some tools that you can use. And let's go make 2024 our best goal setting year ever, right?
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Anderson, for being here and driving this super uplifting conversation. I'm full of energy, and I hope everybody else who was listening to us or maybe watching, listening the replay, it's been a pleasure to kick off the year like this. So thank you. I appreciate you a lot. Amazing stories, amazing shares. There is so much value in today's session. If someone missed that, please go back, watch it. And yes, as you said, 25th, 2 weeks from now, Thursday, same time, we will be back with the entire crew. Hopefully, our beautiful girls will be back with us as well. And we will be sharing practical tools about how to set those goals. So you will be totally equipped. Till then, just practice that reflection, practice the gratitude, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, if you have anything that you would like us to bring on into the Empowered Wellness series. We would love to hear your voice. So let us know because we are here to serve you and not necessarily to just entertain ourselves. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Have a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are, and see you back in 2 weeks' time. Bye for
Thank you so
now.
much. Bye, y'all.